social distancing. For those of you who do have to go to work, we pray for your protection while you're out there. My name is Jackie Downs. I'm the Director of the Arts Council for Baltimore City here at the Baltimore Office of Promotion in the Arts. And I am joined by an amazing panel of beautiful, creative women who are also co-organizers of the Baltimore Artist Emergency Relief Fund. We thought this conversation, this info session was necessary today because we wanted to address some of the questions that people may have about applying and also to give you an update on where we are with this fund. So at this time, I would like to now present the floor open to all the rest of the presenters to introduce themselves. Next up, we'll hear from Ms. Maggie Villegas.
Hi, my name is Maggie Villegas, and I'm the Executive Director of the Baltimore Creatives Acceleration Network, a citywide initiative that provides business development and entrepreneurship support for creatives across Baltimore. Alanah?
Hi, I'm Alanah Nichole, and I'm an independent artist here in Baltimore City. I am here because I'm part of this coalition, but because I care about you guys as artists, and I want you guys to learn more about this fund and apply. So.
Hi, everyone. It's Sharayna Christmas. I am Program Director at BCAN. I'm also the founder and Executive Director of Muse 360 Arts and also the founder of Necessary Tomorrows. And I'm excited to be here with this wonderful group of women to support artists in Baltimore City.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lady Brion. I am the Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Avenue Black Arts and Entertainment District. I'm also a professional spoken word poet and teaching artist, and so I'm grateful to be here with you all today.
Thank you all, ladies. Thank you so much. Next up, we'll just talk about some statistics and where we land right now with the fund. We opened almost a couple of weeks ago, and right now we have to date 503 submissions, and we almost have given out nearly 200 grants right now. So we're really excited to say that we're moving quickly. We're rapidly going through all the applications, and it's happening. You know, we came together quickly, we made it happen, and we are happy to work together in such a collaborative fashion. And just a thank you to all the major foundations. All their names are listed on our website here, and all the individuals who thought this was a worthy cause to donate to as well. Our goal was $125,000. We've exceeded that goal. Right now we're at $136,000 and climbing quickly. Keep giving. As long as we have the money, we're going to keep giving out those awards to artists. So we thank everyone who's out there who's donated to this cause. Next, we'll hear from Maggie, and she'll be talking more about some of the commonly asked questions that people are asking us about how to apply, and also giving some tips on resources that you can use in addition to the fund that we have in place.
Thank you. So essentially, if you are an active artist working in Baltimore City, living and working in Baltimore City, and you're over 18, then you are eligible to apply. And how we determine whether you're a Baltimore City resident is actually through the application. There's a section where we ask what your address is. So we have gotten a question about how we determine residency in Baltimore. And we also want to make accommodations for those who are working in Baltimore. We also want to make accommodations for those who are housing insecure as well. So if you are in that situation, and you have a mailing address that is different than a Baltimore City address, we do ask that you reach out to us directly so that we can get that clarified and note that on your application. So I did want to make sure that you all knew that. And how we determine whether you're an active artist in creative practice is we ask for you to submit information about whether it's like a portfolio link or a social media handle, maybe it's a website, and that you describe what your active creative practice looks like. And then we also ask for you to explain how the pandemic has impacted your income. So we do want to know if it's a result of an event cancellation or if it's because of a school closure. We just ask for some basic specifics around that. But all in all, we did try to keep the application as simple as possible, because we want to be able to support as many people as possible. We don't want the application to be a barrier. Another note is that if you, for some reason, have any issue getting online to fill out the application, you can also mail in an application. And that is another option. So if you have questions about how to do that, you can contact BOPA at 443-956-2033, and you'll reach Lou, who is the grant administrator for this program.
Thank you. Maggie, can you talk about just how this whole collaborative fund came together and the origins of this thing in such a dire time? How did it happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially, once the pandemic hit, it impacted artists immediately with event cancellations. A lot of us are working, from contract to contract. So immediately, people started losing work, and losing it in a way that it was indefinite. There were some amazing women on this call who took it upon themselves to create their own funds through their own platforms, and they'll talk a little bit about that. Sharayna and Alanah both stepped up in that way. And what I was observing, or what we were all observing, was that there was an immediate need, and we wanted to unlock as much support as possible and try to engage philanthropy in order to get more dollars in the hands of artists who are rapidly losing income, because we know how important artists are to ourselves as human beings. We need art. We need art to thrive. And so we wanted to support artists in this time. So we pulled together a coalition of 20 different artists and arts organizers, including those who had already started their own funds, to try to collectively pool resources to be able to deploy more funds into the artist community here in Baltimore City.
Awesome. Thank you. And Alanah, do you want to talk next about your experiences with the fund you created initially?
Yeah, absolutely. So on March 13th, I created Alanah's COVID-19 Emergency Fund for Artists and Freelancers. And I was able to, and I guess in about 2 or 3 weeks, raise just a little over $5,000, and was able to give that out, not only to Baltimore artists though, but was able to give out to about 100 artists in small, like really small amounts. It was nothing that was gonna cover anyone's rent, maybe in part, or maybe like helping a cell phone bill or something like that. But it was more so about the response time, because almost immediately I saw that my peers were facing cancellations as well as myself. I canceled just about 8 weeks worth of events that I either market or help produce or things like that. And so I knew that the effects would be rippling through the community pretty quickly. And I also knew that there's always a stigma, I think, especially in Black and Brown communities, around being expressive when things are, tough financially. And so I knew that, I would want to kind of ask before I knew that I was going to ask people if they needed help before people were going to ask for help. And so the response time for me was more important than anything, but it was super successful. And we even had, for my fund, the donations from Janelle Monáe and some shares and things like that. So it spread really far and wide and really put faith in, I think, what the Baltimore arts community, brings to the world, not just Baltimore, but yeah.
That's awesome. And Sharayna, I think you as well, you created your own fund. Can you talk about your experiences as well?
Sure. So I run an initiative called Necessary Tomorrows, and it does a myriad of different things around the arts. And it's a pretty new initiative, only about like 2 years old. And I had planned to actually produce a fund that I would have launched probably in this late spring. But when the pandemic happened, I said, well, it's no better time than now to see if I could disperse these funds. I have been saving money, my own money, as well as I asked a few folks if they wanted to donate, they could. And so what ended up happening was I created a process that was specifically very simple, but it was targeted for Baltimore City artists, and it was for Black artists. And so we ended up serving or funding about 44 artists, and we gave out about $4,500 worth of grants. We didn't have, I would say the smallest grant that we gave out was about $50, and the largest one we gave out was about $200. And I actually ended up calling each and every artist, which was a lot, very draining, but at the same time, it was worth it. Just to kind of see, are there other ways that we could work together? Like if I'm hiring at BCAN, if I'm hiring at Muse 360, do you need some other kind of work? Because the reality is these grants are not going to, like Alanah said, sustain them, for a long time. It just might be what period of time that, or an immediate response that they need. So, calling each artist was really beneficial, and also developing relationships with Baltimore artists to let them know, hey, I'm here as a resource. So, I would say that, it was eye-opening. I don't really kind of gauge it in terms of success or not success, but I'm happy to always be there for my fellow artists, particularly Black artists in the city, who, you know, normally are not able to sustain their practice. It just was so necessary. So, you know, I plan on continuing the fund, and, you know, I'm also here to help other people that, you know, want to do the same thing. I think it's something that is absolutely necessary for us to maintain.
Thank you. It is very necessary. Thank you for your support in all of this. And Lady Brion, can you speak about your experiences with the Black Arts District and what you've seen in the arts community and how it's impacted people and artists that you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important to note that although we're talking about COVID-19 and the impact that it's had, particularly on the creative economy, I think that when you're talking about, you know, Black artists, we have to recognize there are all these other systemic issues that were already impacting people's lives. And then this crisis kind of compounded on top of that really creates a dire necessity to respond and support artists through this time. And I think for a lot of people, artists and freelancers and folks who are part of the creative economy become an afterthought. But I think it's really important, and I'm thankful that all the partners and BOPA kind of led the effort to make sure that there was some support for Baltimore artists. For the Black Arts District, you know, one of the things that we exist to do is to push for cultural equity and advocate for cultural equity, particularly for Black creatives in the city. So for us, it was quintessential that we be a part of this effort and make sure that there was an equitable approach to folks who are being supported and making sure that particularly Black creatives have access to this fund, know about this fund, and can get support from the fund, right? Because as we know, there are just too often times where Black creatives in the city don't have access because of lack of proximity or what have you to funding sources or for opportunities and initiatives that were honestly set up for them. So we're very grateful to have been able to be a part of this process. For the Black Arts District in particular, you know, we recognize that artists and entertainers and creatives are also essential employees during this time, because when there is hopelessness, when there is a crisis, we turn to the artists to lift our spirits, to bring back that hope, right? And so we want to make sure that we are actually imploring artists to produce art during this time. So we have done a number of creative events digitally. So we've been doing open mics and poetry competitions. We actually just launched a competition just last week where we are inviting folks to produce any kind of photography, film-based, performative-based art to their Instagram page, and we're going to be selecting the top 15 winners from a jury panel to be able to give them $100 each just for producing art. So we want to make sure that artists are still being artists during this time and producing relevant content to lift our spirits.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. I just want to say this has been such a process, and the way it all came together so quickly and working together in this collaborative fashion has been an awesome experience for myself personally. I enjoy working with all of you women. You're also passionate about the arts in Baltimore City. You're also passionate about equity and making sure that everyone's really providing a service to artists in this city. So there's a lot of love in Baltimore City. We really care about them. And everyone on this panel demonstrates that in their everyday work, in their personal and professional practice. So it's just been a pleasure working with all of you. Does anyone else want to share or add any last closing thoughts before we open it up to questions from anybody else?
I just would encourage, I just want to shout out like some of the artists that are out there supporting one another, you know, including the women on this call. Alanah, you know, just stepping up as a mother, as an artist to, you know, show her leadership. Brion, you know, I've seen the contest. I suggested some of my youth, you know, look at that. I think that the example of leadership that you all are providing to the city is wonderful, and it's a great inspiration for myself, just to see where the next wave of leaders come from. I mean, it could literally come from this. And so I know that there's another fund by an individual artist, Abdul Ali. He's launching one for Black LGBT community and Black women artists. So, you know, just, you know, continuing to be that example in servant leadership is just so important. So I just want to shout out my, you know, ladies on the call, you know, for doing that for our community. And, you know, Jackie and Maggie. Maggie put a lot of work into this. So I know she was talking about everyone, but I was like, Maggie was on the ball on that Monday. So, I just want to, commend you all for setting the example. And I'm really proud to know you all and to be a part of this experience.
Thank you. Same.
Thank you, Sharayna.
Likewise. Okay, so we're 15 minutes in. We did good, ladies. We stuck to our time. So at this time, if people are watching, if you have any questions about how to apply, or are there any questions coming in at this time, we'd love to answer any questions.
We have one question that came in that talked about how individuals can donate to the fund.
Awesome, I can answer that. If you want to donate to the fund, you can go to the BOPA website at promotioninarts.org, and you can click on the Baltimore Artists Emergency Relief Fund page. On that page, you'll find all the information you need there. At the very bottom, there is a link to donate. You can donate online, or you can also send a check. Yes, thank you.
We have another question that came in that asked about Artscape updates.
At this time, BOPA, we're planning. We're not giving out any information right now. We're still waiting to see what we're going to do. We're trying to make the best decisions that's best for the community and best for everyone involved. So please check out our website for updates on any BOPA-related festivals or activities.
There are no more questions.
Okay. Well, this has been awesome. We hope we have answered some of your questions. We are really excited to be processing these applications. Again, this is a really good show of how the Baltimore arts community can come together and really get something done for the art scene. We are passionate. We thank you, anyone who's donated $5 or $5,000 or $10,000. We thank you for your support and your investment in this city. And we hope to be hearing from you soon. Thank you so much again for joining us today. If you're eating lunch, enjoy. Have a wonderful day. Thank you all.
See you guys.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Karima.
Yes, thank you, Karima.
Thank you, ladies. Great. So I will be ending the meeting now.